stop trying to market the way that you want to bring forward your business and sell your business, and start getting into the mind of your buyer and the journey they're going on, and fit in where it makes sense for them, not where it makes sense for you. Everyone's so busy, they've got so much BAU that they're just skipping from meeting to meeting to KPI to KPI, that they don't stop and actually go, what's working here? Like, is what we're actually communicating to our customers what they're wanting to hear, or is what we actually think they want to hear? And so understanding along that buyer journey for marketing is crucial.
Hi, and welcome to the Entrepreneur Organization Business Podcast. I am your host, Lynn Pedetti. Now, please meet my guest today, Damian Kernahan, CEO of Proto Partners, which he co-founded with his wife, Cara. They have been responsible for driving growth initiatives for local and international companies such as Fosters and Telstra, and led over 200 plus projects over their 14 years in business. Proto Partners provides services such as redesigning business model and strategy, redesigning product services and customer experience, and more. Now, in today's episode, you're going to learn how Damian managed to systemize his marketing in his own business that allows him to attract leads, increase conversion, and most importantly, have marketing work for him, rather than feeling like he's stuck in a hamster wheel of his own business. Well, please join me in welcoming Damian. Hey everyone, and welcome to the show, and welcome Damian.
Hey Lynn, how are you? Good to be here.
I am good, excited to talk to you. And yeah, once again, I get to meet amazing people like yourself at EO Sydney. And today we get to talk about a topic that I love, which is marketing. I'm in the field of marketing too. And you have gone through some sort of challenge that you would like to share with our audience. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about yourself. What does your business do? And yeah, get people to know a little bit about you.
Yeah, sure. So we're Proto Partners. We're 15 years old. Cara and I founded it. She's both my wife and my business partner. And so we founded it in 2008. And so we started as a business, as a product design, product innovation company, but we started 5 months before the GFC. And even though we had clients like Schweppes and Qantas at the time, everything went away. And so we had our second son in December, went away for Christmas, came back and went, we need to do something different. So everyone talks about pivoting now. In those days, you just change direction. And so what we did is we changed direction into what's called service design. And it's probably more known as customer experience now, but it's the designing of service experiences. And over 70% of organizations in this country, first world countries, are service-based businesses. And so what we do is we work with large enterprises to help them close the gap between all the promises they make and their actual delivery. And quite often there's a yawning gap. So we walk in there and we understand what the customer journey looks like, and we help them close those gaps and actually deliver on the promises that they've actually made to their customers. And we're doing 15 years, and we do maybe 20, 30 projects a year. So yeah, we love it.
I love that, because for me, I felt like the whole customer experience is quite new in my world, but you've been doing it for 15 years. Do you feel like the industry has changed more when more people are realizing that you can't compete on, price and things, and it really comes down to the customer experience?
Totally. Like if I think about when I went back to and look in LinkedIn and search customer experience manager or lead or head of customer experience, back in 2009, there was no one. Just 10 people in Australia. There was no one. And so there's thousands now. And so, yeah, it absolutely has grown up significantly. I also think it's changed and morphed. Customer experience is such a big, amorphous sort of thing. And in that, people talk about brand experience and product experience and service experience. And so everything sort of gets rolled up. Even data agencies, customer relationship marketing agencies have rebranded as customer experience. And so everyone's customer experience. What we do is a little bit different, and it's a lot more detailed. And so I'm not into a sell job here, but to differentiate it in terms of, most organizations have a not bad sense of what's working for their customers. What we do is really detailed research, like 7 or 8 different types of research, which really get into the weeds and the micro steps of what's going on for customers. And the value that creates is that most organizations understand the big rocks, otherwise they wouldn't be in business. But if they want to differentiate and innovate, it's finding those little weeds and all those little things, those little pebbles that haven't been put together, and unpacking those insights. You can stitch all that together. It creates a far better differentiated experience. And so I think that's quite different than people who talk about brand experience or activation or something like that. So it's all under the same banner, but ours is sort of very human-centered, design-driven.
You go really into the root of the problem. I love that. I can already see
it's absolutely well, it is, because most organizations don't do it. And we're going to get into this in marketing for a while, but they don't get to the nub of the problem. Everyone's so busy, they've got so much BAU that they're just skipping from meeting to meeting to KPI to KPI, that they don't stop and actually go, what's working here? Like, is what we're actually communicating to our customers what they're wanting to hear, or is what we actually think they want to hear? And so understanding along that buyer journey for marketing is crucial, absolutely crucial.
Okay, love it. And let's talk about marketing then, right? So, I'm here because you shared a business challenge with me, and I'm like, let's talk about that. So was there a time when your marketing for yourself was not systemized? Was it creating a problem for you? What did you do, and how can we learn from that with you?
Yeah, so as I say, we've been doing this for 15 years. And I would say for a large portion of that, or 10 years, we was like stabbing in the dark. And this is a sad indictment on me, because I actually am a marketer. I work for Fosters and National Dairies. I looked after major beer brands. But I think product marketing, and we're having that whole, when you're spending mega bucks on average, like you're making $2 million TV commercials and then you're putting $10 million in media. It's a totally different thing to professional services marketing. And so a lot of our business came through word of mouth and people and second follow-up, third follow-up work with our clients. And so I don't think over a lot of time, even though I was a marketer, I'm a bit ashamed to say that I don't think I really understood it in terms of professional services marketing, or B2B marketing, which I think is a totally different type of concept than B2C marketing. Some of the tenets are the same, but a lot is different in the way you approach it. And I also personally had a problem with sort of feeling like I was hitting people up. Like I had this sort of internal sort of challenge, like, oh, I don't want to impinge on their time, or I don't want to seem like I'm keen, or, I remember working for a really large client who was a large real estate firm, and you'll probably work out who it is, but when I tell you, there was a very prominent figurehead in Australia, Sydney based. And he used to say to all his agents, real estate agents, it is our responsibility to actually get in front of these people and show them how good we are, because if they don't go with us, they're going to go with somebody who's not as good. And I've started to embody that over time. Having done this for 15 years, and Cara and I combined 30 years experience, we're so far ahead of so many other people. It's incumbent upon us to go in there and actually show them what they need to be doing. And so having that, I think one of the first steps, and the reason I'm telling you that story, is having that confidence and belief. I think people buy belief and they buy passion, and they can tell if you're faking it or whether you're actually absolutely 110% committed to what you're saying and what you can deliver for them.
Yeah. So take me back. That time you said that it was all word of mouth, and I guess there wasn't a system for you to create to attract the audience. Okay. And then the next step was that you basically had this aha moment going, I believe in my product. More people should hear about it. And so what was the next step in that systemization process?
Yeah. So there's a few steps here, Lynn. So, we've built a database over time. So we have a marketing automation system. And so we've got several thousand contacts, which we've collected, and people have subscribed to our newsletter, and we send that out weekly. And I think over different times we've focused on that and defocused that. But generally now we send out a newsletter a week. And again, it's not hard sell, and it's a trying to provide a point of view. And we're not trying to sell you anything. We're just trying to give you value and help communicate some of the lessons and things we're hearing with our clients. And so I think that's been good. I think it keeps you in market, but I don't think it's it might put people in the top of the funnel. But the challenge is that we see in marketing is that 98 to 99% of people who in your target market aren't in market at any point in time. So if you take 100 people who your target market, maybe one, maybe two are interested in what you're selling at that point. It's not to say they won't be interested in the future, but 99% of people just aren't ready. And what we've also worked out is we've never been able to bring anybody forward. So we've had business coaches and stuff over time. So ring up and follow up people and have coffees, and we've done a lot of that. It never worked, because if you're not ready to develop a customer experience strategy or understand your customer journey, or business is struggling, you're never going to go, gee whiz, thanks for calling, Damian. I was just thinking the other day, unless I'm really thinking that, it's never going to happen. And so we did the marketing automation. We continue to do that now. I think sometimes we've tried to put people into nurture funnels and stuff like that. We've thrown that out the door. We actually do not believe in nurture funnels anymore. We think that's an outdated notion. We think that gated content is an outdated notion. That trying to put people, like putting an ebook and getting people to fill in their details and download it, it doesn't work. And we got personal experience for this because about a year ago, we created a whole resources page for all our IP and content and downloadables. There's videos, there's checklists, there's how-tos. It's about 40 things sitting on our website. And we gated everything and we put in a HubSpot form and we promoted it. So we went out social and we promoted it for a year. How many? I'll tell you, we got less than about 5 people who downloaded the stuff which they weren't with a Gmail account. So 5 people put in their work email and none of those went anywhere. And so we've got all these great ideas and thinking sitting behind gated content, which nobody's accessing and nobody's going into a funnel. It's wasted. It's totally wasted. So that's one of the things we've found out over the last 12 months, having spent a lot of time and effort and money. That whole inbound HubSpot marketing thing, that's great for them because they're millions and tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. If you're a small business, we think that is last century activity. That is not working.
That is so true. Yes, because I too have found that, when I'm sharing content on LinkedIn, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to upload the actual PDF so that you could actually see, or get some value straight away than trying to give you another step. So I'm glad that I kind of just guessed my way through that. But you found out from doing it now that the whole gated thing is not the way to go anymore.
Yeah, we've ungated everything. You go to protopartners.com.au/resources, bang, it's all there. Download it all. We're not asking for your details. We don't want to, when you're ready, you'll come to us. We're not going to put you into any nurture system because the reality is nobody wants to hear from you. Unless you want to hear from you, you don't want to hear from you. So I'll tell you another thing. We put out a survey on LinkedIn about a month ago, and we asked this very question. Listen, we want to know, to our target, we want to know how we should engage with you and contact you. Are you interested in us contacting you or not? You know how many responses? I got thousands of impressions. You know how many responses? I went through to a type form 4-question or 3-question survey.
Yeah.
Do you know how many responses I got? 0. I got 0 responses from thousands and thousands of impressions. I put that post out 4 times, once a week over 4 weeks, 0. What that tells me is not only do they not want to be contacted when they're not ready, they don't even want to give me feedback about that. They want to be contacted because they don't want to be contacted. So stop trying to market the way that you want to bring forward your business and sell your business and start getting into the mind of your buyer and the journey they're going on and fit in where it makes sense for them, not where it makes sense for you. Yeah. So it's got to be it's got to make it easier for the customer, not easier for your business. And I think that's one of the learnings that we communicate that clearly for all our clients, but sometimes you're in a glass house, you go, I've got to do this myself. And so that's what another learning. So that's the next step that we got to.
Do you have a next step to share? I've got a question to ask you.
Ask me a question and then we're going to do the next step after that.
So looking at people who I've known, when I think about marketing, they're like, oh my God, it's like a big step. And, they dabble, but they don't really take it serious. But, people like myself and you really had, what, we can't keep on, running this race, this rat race. We really need to take that step and proactively do marketing so that more clients are coming in. So I guess what would you say to those that are still kind of like, yeah, I should, or, well, I haven't had to do it, but, what would happen if they don't do something about it now?
Well, that's like a hamster wheel. It never ends. And so you can step back, okay, analyze all the marketing activity you're doing, understand where the leads are coming from, understand whether you're happy with that. And then I think you got to step back and go, for the last 8 quarters, we've been doing A, B, and C. Spending X, Y, and Z. Are we getting a return on that? Are we happy to continue to keep on going on that, or are we actually going to try something different? And I think you got to get 12. If you're happy with it, great, just keep on going. But I think too often people they feel, listen, we experiment all the time. And so we're an innovation company, service innovation, experience design company. So maybe it comes more naturally to me. And I just love playing and testing, and I refuse to give up. But I think a lot of organizations, they use the tried and tested things. They may bring in people from big companies into their smaller company. And when we're talking to mainly entrepreneurs on this podcast, so they bring in, experienced people, and then those experienced people try to apply their big company thinking and big budget thinking to a smaller organization. Well, I don't know about you, but most of the time that just doesn't work, because they're used to big support teams. They've got 10 support teams and they don't want to do any work, and they want to spend $1 million. And it's like, no, you're in a smaller business. Sometimes you got to scrabble around and you got to test things. And so we're always testing things and willing to test things to see if it's going to work.
Yeah. I love that. It is so true, because I have brought myself, I'm like a marketing manager in the past who joined, and I remember going, oh, wow, how come she doesn't get my business? Because she was in retail, or B2C, so different. And then she used to work in corporations, and, it did take a bit of time. But then one thing is we just persist. We just kind of push through it. And now she kind of understood our business, and we're reaping the benefit of her help now. But one thing that I would say the difference with us as well is that we're willing to actually be the face of our own business, doing more videos. I guess, what's your advice or your take on that? Because I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs who probably are holding themselves back just because they think, oh, but I'm not a natural on camera, or I don't want to be the face of it. Yeah.
Yeah, great question. So I have a personal experience on this one and share is that our business coach, Karen, my business coach for 2.5 years, maybe 3 years, saying, Damian, you're really good on stage. You're a really good public speaker. And I am. Like, when I get on stage, I can hold an audience, and, that's fine. But I have been really reluctant. And she said, do videos. Videos are great. And so I've been reluctant to get on video for the last 2.5 years. And I made a commitment to myself at the end of last year to I'm just going to do it. And the reason why I didn't do it was inadequacy and imposter syndrome. It's like, if I put this out, will people laugh at me? Will they ridicule me and think I'm a joke? And that was the biggest thing holding me back. And when I realized that was the thing that was holding, I sort of knew it deep down, but I really had to face it myself and go, you know what, Damian, you're gutting out here. Like, you're not quitting, but you're not digging into the real reason what's going on here. So I made a commitment to go, I'm going to do it, and I'm all in, and I'm absolutely going all in. And, if you're looking at my LinkedIn at the moment, like, we're pumping out 3 videos a week, and 1 podcast a week, as well as everything else we're doing. And so I made the commitment. And you know what I found? And I'll get back to the whole the face of it. What I found is I'm getting really positive signals. I'm getting messages every day from people all around the world going, love your content. You're so on point. You're speaking the truth. Like, I really love your stream. I really like the way you're talking. And like, am I the most natural presenter? No, there's lots of better people. But I've been doing this for 15 years, and I'm an entrepreneur. So I've been doing it 365 days a year, because I don't turn off on a weekend. So 365 times 15, what's that? That's 1,000 times 5. That's like, 5,000 days. And then multiply that by hours. We're well above the 10,000 hours of expert. Mm. And so I have no reason to feel imposter syndrome. But now I'm doing it, and I'm loving it, and I'm getting all these positive signals. Now, we're still early on, and I don't have lots of leads and stuff flowing, but that's not what it's about. What it's about is getting out there and putting my voice and putting a differentiated opinion out there. And I believe, because I know you're into video as well, I believe that it will pay back. A couple of stats, and you know this, but I'm selling it for the audience.
Yes.
2% of people contribute or actually post anything or put any words on LinkedIn. So 98% of people are just consuming passively, and 2% are actually posting or actually, commenting and stuff like that. So that's 2 out of 100. I don't have the stats for this, but I've been observing and tracking the data just on counting posts on my feed. And I got like 3,500 contacts on my feed on LinkedIn. I see maybe 1 in 100 people of posts that go out of doing video like you and I do video. That is, I'm talking to camera, I'm giving you a point of view, I'm giving you value, even just a video. Like even if we just said, forget about that part of it, which I think is a different thing, but just a video, 1 in 100. So then you've got 0.02% of people on LinkedIn doing videos. So then you go, okay, if you want to differentiate yourself.
What an opportunity we've got right in front of us.
99.9, whatever it is, 8% opportunity to differentiate yourself if you're willing to back yourself. And so to make yourself feel better, you can see the rig behind. Went to Vividads. They're great in Australia. Got my Shaw microphone, to help me feel like I was in the right space, got some good lighting. And just I can get better and stuff like that, but I'm having a crack and I'm all in and I'm just going to keep on going because I intuitively believe the video and communicating what I've got to say and the experience we've had over 15 years is valuable. And most of those people who listen to those videos are never going to come and work for us. And that's fine. But our goal is to help people improve and deliver better customer experiences. And so if we can do that, even though we won't know it, we're pretty happy.
Yeah, I love it. And it's such a great way to systemize, right? Systemize and leverage, because the way I see video is it's the way for us to create a video once, more and more people can see us, and it doesn't matter what location they're in. So we really wanted to take our effort to the next level. I can't think of any other better way than video. And I feel like you can listen to someone on an audio or read an article. You will never really know the person, but I'm talking to you and I feel you. I see your energy. And so bravo to you in also overcoming your fear. I can't believe you being such a natural public speaker also had that doubt. What did you have to tell yourself, or was it a long process for you to persuade yourself into overcoming that fear?
Listen, I'm going to give up something. I won't give her a surname, but I'll give her Eloise, is somebody I see. And she's part business coach, part psychologist. And I just worked with her on my mind. It's a mind game, isn't it? So it is for me anyway. It's a mind game. And I just worked with her. I told her what I wanted to achieve and she helped me make tangible things that weren't sort of tangible for me. And so we worked on that together, and it's been a great journey. We continue to work together, and it's all about self-improvement. We're part of EO and Entrepreneurs Organization. We're about trying to improve ourselves, and I'm in my 50s and I'm still working every day to do that. Still got a long way to go. But still having a crack.
Yeah, I love that. With any skill set, I realize now it's something you build. It's like everyone goes, "Oh, you're natural now." No, I was not either. It's just the more you do, the more it just becomes natural. So I guess if we were to wrap up in terms of what are some of the key learnings you would say in the process of systemizing your marketing, would you say are key for people to remember in order to achieve the same result?
Sure. So I'm going to break it into two. First, I'm going to break it into written, then I'm going to break it into video content. So in terms of a written, what we have done is we've built a Notion content operating system. And so what we do is we write a newsletter or an article every week. And off that, we've adapted this from other people. So I didn't come up with all of this, but we've adapted it to improve upon it, we believe. So we write the article, and then out of that, we then create 7 or 8 different pieces of content, which allow us to spread that. And what we do is we spread that out over a 6-week period. So we'll write the article and then we'll put out a newsletter call to action. So that'll go out the day before. And then the day of, we send out a newsletter. And then we send out a post newsletter call to action. This is what you missed. That goes out the day after. And then we send out a cut down story, and that goes out on the second Friday. And then we send out a listicle, a list of things to do and that goes out on the second Saturday. And then we send out an observation, and that goes out on the second Sunday. And then we send out a LinkedIn post question, and that goes out on the third Thursday. We'd send out LinkedIn carousel post 1 and 2, third Friday, fourth Wednesday. We send out a contrarian, in terms of a contrarian thought about how people normally look at this versus what they should. And that goes out on the 5th Tuesday. The visual contrarian goes out on the 4th Thursday, and the past versus present, old versus new, goes out on the 6th Monday. And so what we do, and this has transformed the way we do it, because what we do is we create one piece of IP and content, and then we develop 8 to 10 different types of content out of that. And then we spread it over a 6-week period, because people don't want to hear the same thing I don't want to smash by 10 different things on the same week. And then we spread that over 6 weeks. And that has transformed our ability to get written content that are out there on a systematic basis. So that's written. And then for video, what we do is we're creating a podcast. We've created a podcast called Experience Essentials. And the purpose of that is not to have a podcast. The purpose of a podcast is a second order effect. The main part of the podcast is to create 3 to 4 cut down videos that we send out into LinkedIn to give mass access to people, because most people are going to listen to a 45-minute. But if we can cut out the 4 best things, the 4 best pieces of customer insight that we've got from our research and our IP, and we deliver that every week, so 3 or 4 videos a week on LinkedIn. If they choose to, they can go back to the podcast and listen to the whole thing. We're not making them. If they want to, that's great. But that's what we're doing. So we're cutting those out, we're editing them, we're putting them out, and we're putting some production value into them so people value them. And so at a high level, they're the 2 systems we've built to become systematic, programmatic, consistent, and scalable.
That is a magnificent system. All I know, it just felt very orderly and scheduled and automated. So bravo to you on that.
We've leveraged and adapted of other people, but we think we've built like what we got from them was sort of bare bones, and we've really built a much more detailed system.
Yeah, and it's all about doing it and practicing it. And one thing that I would like to share is when I started doing podcasts years ago, that actually helped me to practice video skills way better than anything, because you got to rock up and you keep talking with someone. And I think it just, it made it a lot easier than trying to talk to the camera yourself. So I think people should definitely try out the podcast side of things. Now, before we end our 30 minutes chat, I usually like to leave a kind of a deeper question. And I know you're someone that loves to help others and create videos, so this wouldn't be too scary for you. But what do you want the world to remember Damian for?
So, great question. So I'm going to bring it back to my family, because I got a lovely wife and 3 boys. And even though the natural thing is to talk about business, and I think in years gone by, I might have talked about business, but just seeing them grow up, and my eldest is 18 now, and he's a fine young man, and the other 2 boys are following in his footsteps. I think that becomes, as each year goes by, that becomes more and more important to me. And as I get older, I realize how valuable that is. And so Cara and I, it's a joint thing, are both working on that. And sometimes I'm good and sometimes I'm bad, but it's a constant effort and investment. But I think my father recently died, and I think you look back and it makes you reflect on what's actually important. And everyone tells you all the stuff about it on deathbed and stuff like that, and I think they're actually right. But I think when you have that moment that sits personally, I think it's the first time that somebody is super, super close to me and my family had died. I think that's what brings it home for me. Of course, we want to create a sustainable business and help improve customer experience, but I think that's a secondary thing versus our boys.
Wow, to be the best father and husband that you could be.
Yeah, sounds hackneyed. I'm not going to use those words. You can use those words, but you're trying. I've come a long way from it.
Try to be the best.
I'm having a best as crack as I can with and trying to develop myself to not repeat the sins of the past.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Damian, for sharing your tips and advice around marketing, as well as still humbling us, reminding us what's important. And we're going to have all your details in the description below, so everyone can connect with you on your business website, as well as your LinkedIn, etc. So we'll put them all in there. So thank you so much, Damian.
Thanks, Lynn. Really enjoyed it. Okay.